Right now on Hoosier News Source, another sexual assault on campus, but this time we know where. And a senior professor questions IU's response to anti-Semitic activities on campus.
And I have a look at some cooler temperatures as well as our IU women's basketball game forecast. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Ashton Hackman. As of Monday evening, there are now 32 reported sexual assaults on campus. This past semester, IUPD's crime log did not list the exact location of a sexual assault. However, that changed when they reported a sexual battery and rape at Phi Kappa Psi on Halloween. IU students were also made aware of another sexual assault that took place at the Union Street apartments. Campus police said they have reason to believe the suspect at Union Street is the same suspect involved at reported sexual assaults at the Evolve apartments. A study IU Hillel released this week shows that 1/3 of Jewish college students in the U.S. face anti-Semitism. The tearing down of mezuzahs in IU residence halls targeted IU's own Jewish community. The IDS reached out to IU spokesperson Chuck Carney for comment after news of the incident initially broke. And now the director of the Institute for the Study of Contemporary Anti-Semitism has called out Chuck Carney for his weak statement.
Chuck Carney put out a very weak statement. It was just boilerplate language, something like this is not in conformity with IU values. But there was no condemnation, and IU has to be very, very explicit in condemning such things.
According to Chuck Carney, Dr. Rosenfield initially contacted him to share his concerns and sent examples of stronger language. After IUS TV News contacted Chuck Carney for comment, the interim provost published a statement regarding the recent Islamic Center vandalism with a single line addressing anti-Semitism. Have you noticed long wait times or restaurants not having the food you want? A backlog in the supply chain has led to major delays in product distribution. I spoke with both businesses and consumers who are feeling the effects of the delays. In ports all around the world, cargo ship traffic jams are due to the stark rise in production. Some ships waiting weeks to dock at port, and it's having a major impact on businesses and consumers, even affecting their morning coffee.
When I go to get a cup of coffee in the morning from the IMU Sugar and Spice, a lot of times they don't have the correct type of cup that they need, or they don't have the correct type of lid. Mainly just a lot of small things that slightly negatively impact the restaurant experience.
Backups in the supply chain have caused many businesses to be out of supplies, and that's forced even some closures, forcing customers to choose other options. A major factor in the backlog is a shortage of truck drivers. Fewer drivers means longer waits for distribution.
The biggest way it's affected us has been with our delivery partners. That's our truck drivers and distribution partners who bring us deliveries on a daily basis. They've had a hard time from a labor standpoint, but also from a product standpoint, just bringing us timely deliveries with all the product we need on a daily basis.
The Biden administration aims to unclog the backups after ships dock at port. In a town hall with CNN's Anderson Cooper, the president said he'd consider using the National Guard to help move the supply chain.
So, you're actually talking about having National Guardsmen and women driving trucks?
The answer is yes, if we can't move to increase the number of truckers, which we're in the process of doing.
The backlog could have a major impact on the upcoming holiday shopping season. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Ashton Hackman. Consumers are encouraged to get a head start on holiday shopping to avoid shipping delays. Experts say the backlog could last well into the new year. Many industries have had to adapt to the pandemic, the healthcare industry being one of them. IU Health launched an app at the end of July titled I Can Help that allows hospital staff to cover empty shifts that are without employees due to the staff shortage. A 13 WTHR article recently covered the story and shared that many team members are covering non-clinical shifts that are typically covered by nurses. In doing so, nurses are able to spend more face-to-face time with their patients. The app allows IU Health to stay on top of their patient care amid nationwide staff shortages. And the new IU Regional Academic Health Center is nearing its final stages of being built. The IU Regional Academic Healthcare Center will start accepting patients later this year. After breaking ground in 2018, the projected finish date for the center was in 2020. IU Health decided to build the facility because the Bloomington Hospital has outgrown its property. The new hospital is almost 700,000 square feet and features a trauma center, physicians' offices, and surgical services. As we've moved into November, we're getting our first cold snaps of the season. Caroline Clare has the latest on this week's weather. Caroline?
Thanks, Ashton. We are definitely getting into some cooler temperatures here. I have our Friday low temperatures versus our Tuesday low temperatures. And as you can see, quite a bit of a difference here. Our Friday low reaching around 30, maybe even dipping into the 20s here, getting below that freezing line. However, some warmer temperatures kind of returning as we get into next week. Only our lows getting into the 40s here. So going to be quite a change in some cooler temperatures moving warmer as we get into the next week or so. Let's take a more in-depth look at how these cool temperatures are for our Friday IU women's basketball game against the University of Indianapolis. So if you are heading out to the game time's at 7 p.m. A cool night, and it's going to be quickly getting cooler. So as you're heading out, 50 degrees, luckily no chance of precipitation, some really light winds. Should be a really beautiful night. However, guys, it is going to be into the 30s by the time you're about leaving the stadium here. So make sure to grab a coat as you head out the door to the game. Now let's take a look at what we can expect for the rest of the week. And guys, it's going to be a beautiful week. Going to be cool, getting down maybe even into the 20s here over a few days. And as we work throughout the whole week, going to be a nice, beautiful week in the 40s and 50s, going into the 60s over next week. And guys, only thing here is going to be our cool, low temperatures. So if you are out when the moon is out, make sure to grab a coat as you head out the door. Stay warm this week, and don't forget to cheer on the Hoosiers this Friday. Ashton, back to you.
Coming up on Hoosier News Source, find out just how much money IUDM raised for Riley Children's Hospital and a new app launched on campus to help fill your weekend plans. All of that and more when we return. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. HNS reporter Caroline Geib joins us in studio for Around the World with the latest international news. Caroline?
Thanks, Ashton. Global leaders gather in Glasgow, Scotland this week to discuss taking action to combat climate change. The 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP26, started on Sunday, October 31st and will continue until Friday, November 12th. Over 120 leaders appeared for the event Sunday, including President Joe Biden, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Many large decisions have and will continue to be made at the conference in relation to climate change. The COVID-19 pandemic has just passed the grim milestone of 5 million deaths worldwide. 19 months after the start of the pandemic, nations around the world have reported 250 million cases of COVID-19. But according to the World Health Organization, deaths could be 2 times higher than these official records. The World Health Organization says even as vaccines slow the death rate of the virus, the pandemic is far from over. Also this week, the CDC approved the Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds. The United States officially has the highest recorded amount of deaths, as more than 745,000 people have died. And over in the Nigerian city of Lagos, police are searching for dozens of missing people after building collapse. The 22-story building collapsed Monday afternoon. So far, 4 deaths have been confirmed, although the number of deaths may increase as the search continues. The cause of the collapse, as well as the number of people missing, is still unclear. Local authorities have ordered an investigation into the collapse. But this is not the first time building standards in Lagos have been under fire, with both fatal collapses in both 2014 and 2019. That's what's going on this week around the world. Be sure to watch next week for the latest international headlines. Ashton?
Thanks, Caroline. $3,090,215.23. That's how much money IUDM raised for Riley Children's Hospital this year. After fundraising virtually last year, dancers filled the tennis center for 36 hours over the weekend. In the past 31 years, IUDM has raised over $43 million for the hospital. Dance Marathon is the second largest philanthropic student organization in the country. More than 1,000 IU students fundraised this year, helping so many families. A new app called Poppin allows users to find or host parties on college campuses in a safe way. HNS reporter Olivia Oliver shows us more about it.
Many college students use their days off to go out, find a party, and have some fun. But what happens when the weekend rolls around and you're still stuck on the couch without a place to go? A new startup app called Poppin aims to fix that problem.
So it's essentially a platform where people can find and host parties, right? So, if you're bored on a Saturday night, you can just go ahead and check Poppin. There's going to be, a party or like even a casual event nearby, and you can just RSVP and then boom, you have something to do.
The app has features like an RSVP function and an open guest list so users can see who's going. And developers are planning to add a way for the host to charge an entry fee.
So we're going to add a payment integration feature to Poppin where a party host can charge for parties, in advance, right? So not only will it be more lucrative for party hosts in case they are trying to monetize their parties, but in general, it's going to improve that system so there's no chaos in front of the front door.
Users can sort parties in the app by location or even the ratio between men and women attending. This allows for users to go to parties where they will feel the most comfortable. Developers are also creating a function to report people who sexually harass or assault other partygoers. Once reported, the offender's account will become either banned or flagged so other users can be aware.
Either way, it's just a system of holding each other accountable and making sure that, yes, we're going to have a good time, never at someone else's expense.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Olivia Oliver.
The Poppin app is available at IU as well as Yale, USC, UCLA, and Babson College. Construction on campus continues, but the Meese building for the Eskenazi School of Art, Architecture, and Design is almost done. The building is based on a 1952 design by legendary architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. The project has a $10 million budget and will feature a brand new setting for lectures, student collaboration, and administrative offices. The new building will mark one of the final changes from former IU President McRobbie and add an astonishing piece of architectural design to campus. IU football suffers another loss, this time against Maryland. Mason Williams is here to tell us what happened to Tom Allen's team and the latest on other Hoosier sports. Mason?
Thanks, Ashton. Let's take a look at how the Hoosiers fared over the Halloween weekend. We start with football, where IU looked to get back on track Saturday against Maryland. First-time starter Donovan McCauley and company played a great offensive game, but ultimately fell short in defeat 38-35. The loss dropped IU to 2-6 on the season, and they will head to Ann Arbor for a matchup with the Michigan Wolverines this Saturday at 7:30. IU men's soccer was also in action over the weekend in a Halloween Day matchup with Maryland. Stakes were high as a share of the Big Ten regular season title was on the line in the finale in College Park. IU suffered a 2-0 defeat following unsuccessful efforts to break through and find an elusive goal. As a result, IU earned a 3 seed in the upcoming Big Ten tournament, and they'll host Rutgers right here in Bloomington this upcoming Sunday at 1 p.m. to kick off their postseason campaign. And finally, as the calendar turns from fall to winter, so too does the athletic schedule. The excitement of a new season for winter sports is here. Keep it with IUS TV for all the coverage you need this season. Ashton, back to you.
Thanks, Mason, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's stories, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUS TV News. I'm Ashton Hackman from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.